What's going on? Welcome. Thanks for checking out this video. So, I got another video here for you on Disney's big woke animated feature, Strange World, which just finished its long 5-day holiday opening weekend. Yay! Well, too bad it went off like a complete wet fart that pretty much no one seems to give a damn about and is shaping up to be one of the biggest box office disasters in Disney's history. But before we go over and take a look at the numbers, we gotta take a look at the incredibly shady crap going on over at the film's Rotten Tomatoes page, which in all honesty is to be expected as they rush to protect it from the much-deserved backlash. So making a quick stop over at Rotten Tomatoes, you can see that, surprise, surprise, there's an incredibly shifty and amazingly convenient upwards trend on the movie's audience score, which, as I said, is pretty typical and to be expected when you have a film from a company as big as Disney that is largely being rejected by audiences. So while going through all this, just keep in mind that huge alterations were made to how users were able to rate movies after the release of the god-awful Captain Marvel because the backlash to that movie was so immense, and they couldn't allow that to go on unhindered. They, of course, said the measures were taken to protect against review bomb campaigns. Yet, they never acknowledged positive review bombs, and we know why. Those are a critical method in how one could artificially inflate the user score in hopes it boosts the amount of people going to see their movie. So the all-audience score is sitting at a meager 40%. However, tons of 5-star reviews are being flooded into the verified user tab. The verified audience tab. So the verified score is continuously on the rise. I mean, it was only 60% just yesterday. The verified was added as a means to discredit low scores as nothing more than a quote-unquote troll campaigns by people who obviously never saw the movie, without taking into account that there are plenty of people who truly did see the movie and want to leave a review without going through the hassle of having to prove to a website that they bought a ticket. You know, it just screams damage control bullshit. Now, I'm not sitting here making a full-blown accusation that Disney is 100% working with Rotten Tomatoes to artificially inflate the score, but it's just pretty fishy that this always seems to happen whenever a movie of theirs is receiving negative reviews or performing poorly at the box office, or in Strange World's case, both. And the mainstream media will continuously push that the movie is only being hated on by bigots and racists. And you shouldn't pay attention to any of the negative reviews because obviously it is impossible for people to truly dislike their woke movie. No, they're just trolls. Ah! You know, it's the same old song and dance we've seen over and over again. So anyway, enough of that shady BS. Let's check out just how well this garbage performed over the weekend. So, in my first video, we talked about how after the first 3 days of the movie's release, it had only grossed about $15.8 million and was expected to only reach about $20 to $23 million by the end of the 5-day weekend. Well, we got the numbers, and it's even worse than was predicted. It only grossed an embarrassing $18.6 million. Whew! Something stinks like shit around here. Now, this is just the domestic gross, of course, but the worldwide isn't that much better at only $27.8 million. Strange World, the latest animated film from Walt Disney Animation Studios, bombed at the box office, only grossing $18.6 million at the domestic box office. That underperformed expectations from box office tracking website Box Office Pro. The site predicted back at the end of October that Strange World would gross between $20 million and $30 million in its opening weekend. Those predictions were adjusted downward ahead of the Thanksgiving weekend to $15 to $25 million. Alright, well, those prediction numbers are a little different than the ones in the article I went through in my other video, but it's not really important. Not only did the film fail to meet original expectations, but it reportedly has a production budget between $135 and $180 million. Deadline's Anthony, Jesus with these last names, D'Alessandro reported Strange World cost $135 million before P&A. Meanwhile, Variety's Rebecca Rubin reported the $180 million budgeted Strange World is poised to be another money loser for Disney. That means the film has to make between $335 and $450 million just to break even. Yeah, I'm going to predict right now that this freaking movie isn't going to make anywhere near $335 million. $450 million is absolutely out of the question. You know, if we go by the trends of the last two big Disney animated movies, Lightyear and Encanto, which both vastly outperformed Strange World in their opening weekends, and they both only ended up with total worldwide box office grosses in the 200 millions. So, I mean, there's very little risk in assuming that Strange World is going to end up with a similar final box office total. So that means Strange World will most likely end up losing Disney well over $100 million. Now, some have discussed on YouTube, like Odin's OMB reviews, that its weak performance is less to do with the film being woke and more about piss poor marketing, and I'll agree that's a fair assessment. You know, I haven't seen a single trailer for this movie anywhere. And although I learned what the movie's plot was about by doing research, if most people are the same and haven't seen any trailers for it, then how the heck are they going to know it even exists? So I still do think the film's wokeness is affecting it to a degree through word of mouth. But yes, the root of the film's shit box office performance is the lack of marketing. So yeah, anyway, that's about it. You know, it really feels like Disney knew this film was going to be a massive flop for them, so they barely put any money into marketing because of that. You know, they always act like they're being so virtuous making this big woke animated movie for kids, but then they barely push it out there. You know, that's just a really weird strategy. So what do you think about all this? Let me know in the comments down below. Please like and share the video, and consider subscribing if you enjoy my content. And I'll catch you all later.